everyone, this is Peak Entertainment and we are back again, and here now we have another video for you, and this will be my review of the Season 3 premiere of Tulsa King. Now there may be spoilers here for this episode, so just be aware when going to this over video, and you can also check out my coverage of the previous seasons of the show, and I'll leave some links within the description. So to quickly recap then on the events of the Season 2 finale, where we saw Dwight take out Jackie Ming and his crew as they look to attack him inside his house. He eventually gets the better of Thresher and advises him to stay out of the drug business. We also see Chicky get killed by Bevilacqua, and Dwight agrees to give him a cut of the business. Everything seems all resolved, but all of a sudden we see Dwight and his house get raided by mysterious gunmen, and we ended the episode seeing Dwight being captive in some sort of hidden facility. And in the open of episode 3, we pick up right after that event, where we see Dwight being interrogated by a special agent mysteriously known as Musso, who's played by Kevin Pollak here, and he claims that he knows everything about Dwight's operations and all of his movements. We later on discover that Dwight actually killed one of Musso's informants over 20 years ago, so Musso feels that Dwight is now obligated to gather intel for him. Dwight is eventually let go and proceeds to get back to business. But he's put under pressure once more when an old friend named Ray calls him back to New York, wanting Dwight to rejoin the Mafia family. Dwight refuses and is threatened to make a contribution to the family, but Dwight is also reluctant to do so. So we'll probably see some ramification of that later on down the line throughout the season. We then see Mitch meet up with an attractive ex-girlfriend named Cleo, whose father runs an established wine distillery, but it's running out of money. We also later on learn that he's under extortion from a dangerous criminal mobster known as Jeremiah Dunmore. Cleo gets Mitch to ask Dwight to help and provide protection for Cleo's father and the business in exchange for an invested share. The father eventually agrees, but is then visited by Jeremiah, who at first sends thugs in to beat him down and then eventually burns down his house. Now in terms of this opening episode, it was Tulsa King as usual. Light-hearted, entertaining to a degree, with some promising elements to look forward to throughout the rest of the season. If you've watched my channel in the past, you will know that my biggest issue with this series is that I feel it always plays it too light and too safe. We get potential dangerous situations that are set up very well, but then they end up being resolved far too quickly, robbing the show of that extra threat and danger level that I think would make it even more of a compelling show. We saw this in Season 2, where we had a whole host of potentially great antagonists, but they were all defeated far too easily. And like Season 2, Season 3 has also some promising setup, both with Agent Musso, also with Robert Patrick, who plays Jeremiah, who already seems to carry a menacing presence, and he has a different look and feel than what we've seen with previous villains throughout the show. So hopefully this time he won't be somebody who's dispatched far too quickly, and that he will able to carry a substantial threat to Dwight and the rest of his crew. Whilst we had involvement over the rest of the supporting characters, there was no real substantial subplots of any worth. We had some sort of tense moments involving Bodhi, who was going to kill the mobster who killed his best friend in the penultimate stages of Season 2, but he pulls out from doing so, and this scene alone is probably symbolic of the show as a whole, where once more we are setting up the danger and then at the last minute we pull its punches. Now Tulsa King has proved to be very popular. It's already been renewed for a 4th season. Overall, I think it suits that middle of the week viewing where it's not too heavy, it's not too complicated. People feel that they can just tune in and enjoy the overall chemistry of the characters, and overall they are very likeable, if not particularly complex or deep. And as usual, as I've mentioned, and as we all know, the star of the show is Sylvester Stallone, whose charisma and presence just continues to carry the series. I've mentioned a lot of the time that I think this is a brilliant role for him because it allows him to really exude much more of his charisma that we see more in his interviews rather than the stoic, iconic action heroes that defined him so much throughout the 80s and 90s. And he's just great here in all of the scenes that he's in, whether he's trying to turn away Dana Delaney, who will not let go and is committed to their relationship, or just trying to set things up with Frank Grillo, who provides a lot of the humour when playing the more tough guy as Bevilacqua. who won't be, I don't think, a main threatening antagonist, but just much more of a character who will always oppose Dwight and provide him with lots of problems. And I think you need that counterbalance because, again, one of my biggest issues is that Dwight just overall wins the battle too easily. He has all the money, all the resources, all of the maneuvers to stay one step ahead of everybody else. And whilst, of course, you do expect the main protagonist of the show to win the day, it does again feel a bit too comfortable in how easily Dwight is able to amend each situation. Yes, we see him arrested or interviewed by the police every now and again, but he just seems to work his way out of it eventually, no problems. So overall, I think this was a good start to the series, and whilst there are a few flaws, I do overall like it. I've always been interested in it because of the role for Sylvester Stallone, but I just hope in this third season that they just amp up the stakes a bit more with a much more of a substantial threat. And I truly believe if they can nail it this time round, then we may perhaps get the best season of the series so far. So there's my thoughts and feelings when looking back at the opening episode of Tulsa King Season 3. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you have any other further movies, television series, or any other topics with the pop entertainment and culture scene that you'd like to see me cover in the channel, then also let me know in the comments, and I will see if I can provide further commentary for you on that subject matter within the future. Please also hit like the subscription and notification buttons so I can provide you with more high quality content like this in the future. But that's it for now. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you very, very soon.